You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 52. I'm Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barnhart.
All right, Jeff. So this week we had a pretty big announcement with Ben Affleck being cast as the role of Batman in the Batman and Superman movie.
Oh, well, this is a great job as Daredevil.
Well, I went back and watched Daredevil. It's funny. As soon as that was announced, I went back and I watched Daredevil. And it's not as bad as I remembered it. It's worse. But it's not so much Ben Affleck that's so bad about it. I think it's really everything else. He's okay. He's not great, but he's okay in it. And here's my logic of, the internet exploded with rage at the casting of Ben Affleck. And I thought about it. I was like, it's 10 years later. He's got more experience as an actor. And, he's just done Argo. And he's doing serious things. And, where he's got some chops, okay? I thought about that, and I thought about that. Again, 10 years ago, he did okay as Daredevil. I think Daredevil is a more complicated or more difficult role than Batman.
Yeah, but you have to. He doesn't have any gravitas. He doesn't. The old time movie actors, you could see them punching somebody out. I can't see Ben Affleck do anything. I don't know. I'm not afraid of Ben Affleck.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of getting him mad.
Were you afraid of Adam West? Maybe it's.
Yeah, but that's a camp thing. And
here's the
if
thing,
he's making
though.
a camp, actually, I bet probably Adam West could kick Ben Affleck's butt even now.
Even though he's 84.
Yep.
Here's the thing. The movie's not going to be camp, and I don't think it's going to be. But I think that, let's say you took the Christian Bale Batman and the Adam West Batman, and you kind of put them together, and you get a nice, perfect Batman.
And you get George Clooney, which was boring.
It was a bad movie. Look, my theory is this: there really haven't been any bad. Excuse me. There have been bad Batman movies, but there really haven't been any bad Batmen.
But there have been boring Batman. And then who played the Batman in Batman Returns?
Michael Keaton? Yeah.
You don't know. You have to think about it. And
well, I remembered, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I didn't remember. I said, what else? Christian Bale. Granted, Christian Bale is showing somebody, hey, he's going to play Batman. It says, ho hum. The only thing I never saw him in anything. He was in American Psycho.
Yeah, I'd seen that.
He played Psycho pretty good. And
yeah.
I don't see a Batman in his character there, but he certainly did a great job in the movies.
He's somebody with range.
I think they should have hired somebody who is not a known person. And I think Ben Affleck is a new actor who is boring. And he doesn't excite me. He did okay in Argo.
I liked that a lot. I liked Argo.
I thought it was a good movie. A bunch of claptrap in it.
Okay.
But the Kirby not giving.
Oh, the not really paying. Yeah. The very, very small nod to Kirby was not big enough for you.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's stupid not to. Hey, there's a lot of people who go see this movie if you mention Kirby.
Well, yeah, Jack Kirby's.
Yeah. And by not putting the word in Jap or something, it's stupid.
All right. And yeah, I mean, for those who are listening, Jack Kirby did all the concept movie or art for the fake movie Argo, and it's gorgeous. It's online. You can find it. It's spectacular. But yeah, I can understand that. I also think back to, and it's been said, but when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, people were so mad, like, what, the guy, the only serious thing he done was the gay cowboy movie. And
he had done. Oh yeah, what did he do? Shakespeare in Love or something like that?
No, he did
A
Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale, which was stupid but fun.
Yeah, well, he had done stupid fun. That was the kind of what he had done before.
Yeah, although.
But then he gave the performance of his career.
And the last one, and they killed him.
Well, yeah, but I feel all of these things. I think let's give Affleck a try.
I think he is weak, and probably will not do well, but he might surprise me, and I will eat my hat. Well, figuratively, not literally.
Well, right.
So,
I wasn't really expecting you to do that.
no.
A lot of fiber, though, so that's good.
Mhm.
So, I lent you this book a while back, and I think you just finished it, right?
Yeah, it took me forever to read it. I'm not sure why.
It's called Men of Tomorrow, Geeks, Gangsters, and the Birth of the Comic Book. It's by Gerard Jones. It's a few years old, but this is I love this. I couldn't put it down. It was this fascinating look at the dawn of the comic book industry, and all the characters involved in it. And I mean that with a pun intended, but yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I may have learned too much. There's an old saying.
You can never go home again.
Smarty. The old saying that no man is hero to his valet. The more you learn about an artist,
the
the less you consider them great. I thought Jack Kirby comes out great in this, and so does Will Eisner.
As they should.
Yeah.
They're heroes.
You can be a hero and a not nice person, too.
Sure.
We didn't find out anything bad about it. But the inventors of Superman were kind of just pathetic.
Yeah. And
poor Bill Finger,
I know,
who really invented Batman. That's like, he's the peak best of comicdom, I think.
Ooh. But yeah, I mean, Bill Finger probably got the shaft worse than anybody in the comics industry. I mean, I look at, Siegel and Schuster, it's like, okay, Joe Schuster lost his eyesight and was basically living in poverty because he couldn't work most of his life.
Mm-hmm.
But Jerry Siegel,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, raw deal, but the guy had allowed he thought he was such a big shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got knocked back down to size. He basically got, all but blackballed in the industry because of, his first lawsuit against DC.
Yeah.
Because who wants to hire somebody that's going to turn around and sue you?
Right.
He's one of the few people in the world who felt any emotion when Mort Weisinger died, because Mort was during the 60s was the only person that gave him work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting.
What a great name.
Mort Weisinger?
Yeah.
It is a great name. But I love what Julie Schwartz said about Mort Weisinger. He said his tombstone should read, "Here lies Mort Weisinger, as usual."
No.
I loved that. And that's so classic Julius Schwartz. He's got an autobiography that's out, and I'm dying to read that. Interesting character.
Very good book, though.
Yeah, I loved it.
I like to have read more of what's going on, but it kind of the last 30 years was only about a fifth of the book or something. It went into great detail, the beginning, but before comics, and then and then during comics, and then I guess nothing really happens. There's no gangsters.
Well, right, and I think this beginning story, which is the focus, it has been largely untold. And I think that's why. The other stuff is like you've read about it. There's other books. You kind of have a general knowledge about, post Silver Age comics. But yeah, a great book. There's a few things that are speculative that are kind of thrown in as, taken as fact, such as Jerry Siegel's son. There's conjecture that he was like developmentally challenged or whatever, because nobody knew anything about him. Well, this book is like 5 years old. Just a couple years ago, I think it's Michael Siegel was his name. He kind of came out of seclusion, and he wasn't retarded or anything like that. He and his mother had distanced themselves from his father, and he's passed away like in the past couple of years. So that was totally wrong. So Gerard Jones did a fantastic job by and large in this book, but there are some conjectural things that are.
I can't remember. Did he say it's conjectural?
He says probably in the book. He says, "Oh, it was probably developmentally challenged or something like that." He makes that conclusion and presents it as fact, which I have a problem with.
Probably isn't considered. I wouldn't bet the farm on. Probably.
He's theorizing and then presents it in the book.
He may have heard a rumor from somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But see, rumor you can say there's a rumor, but don't.
Okay.
There's a way to do this correctly, and I feel that was a flaw. But by and large, I really enjoyed the book. And Gerard Jones has also written comics too. I forget what he'd done, but so yeah, it's a good book. I recommend it. So it's just a few years ago.
He's done Batman and Spider-Man and Pokemon.
Ugh. But moving along.
We can't talk about other people's comic book. It's anybody. I cannot complain about someone else's comic book liking if I like.
Well, and as a writer, sometimes you'd get the assignment like, okay, it's this because I need to eat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
But getting into the show, we'll open up with DC Special number 16, and this is a collection of reprint stories. It's superheroes against super gorillas.
Oh, this is amusing.
So the first story in this is Batman Battles the Living Bomb Beast from Detective Comics number 339, written by Gardner Fox, with art by Carmine Infantino and Joe Giella.
Gorillas are inherently funny. I'm not sure why, but they are. They're just amusing. A buddy of mine, we made these Tofu Wieners Adjust. It was a cable access show. I need to put on the air, and we did a commercial with a guy in an ape suit, and one of the guys was just playing around, and he did some Eugene O'Neill play with it in an ape suit, and there was a scream. The first time I laughed so hard that Coke went out my nose.
Oh, man.
It was extraordinarily painful, but I still laughed. It was fun.
Must have been expensive. I mean, even in the 80s. Oh, not that kind of Coke. Okay.
Okay. This is a goofball thing. It's a story about bionics, which was a new thing in the 70s, and we got the $6 Million Man. And,
sure.
And bionics is cool, and so.
But this isn't about like building, like replacing your parts of your body with robotics. It's like like applying elements of biology, like animal biology, to the human physiology.
To duplicate their special properties.
Right. So this guy is kind of a milksop, but he studied all this stuff, and he learned how to transfer the power of a gorilla to his own body. But then the gorilla turns evil or something and uses him as a slave.
Well, the gorilla gets his intellect.
Yeah.
And so the gorilla controls everything. Oh, it's a pretty smart gorilla. And that beats up Batman. And I love the expressions of... They have close-ups of the gorilla thinking and talking. I don't know why. It's just amusing. I don't know, why do kids like gorillas? I guess it's because they're like men, but they're not.
Yeah.
And they're really big and hairy and scary, but they're comical at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's something about the gorilla that, since we've known that they existed, has just fascinated the mind of the imagination of people.
Yeah, well, the gorilla is really smart and gives Batman a run for his money.
Yeah, it's a great fight with Batman and this gorilla, and Batman's got to try and beat the gorilla to, transfer the power, consciousness back to the guy, the scientist. And gosh, what is it? Okay, what is the bomb element? The gorilla creates this bomb that if he touches the ground, it'll explode.
Right.
And so Batman's got to try and keep this gorilla aloft until Robin can defuse the bomb or something.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It is weird, but they do, and yeah.
There's a nice Gorillas in Fact and Fiction.
Oh, just a one-page text thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did read that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. He was in-house ad for the Bible. And
this is one of those treasury editions.
National Lampoon did a spoof called Real Boy's Life. It's based on Boy's Life.
Oh, yeah.
And they had illustrated Bible, and they had the dirty part, Song of Solomon.
Oh, sure.
Which I found, I don't know, I thought of that, but really well drawn, though.
Yeah, it's all Joe Kubert art, I believe. He did that picture stories from the Bible or whatever that treasury edition was. But yeah. So our next story in this is Wonder Woman, Gorilla, from Wonder Woman number 170. And it's written by Robert Conagher, with art by Ross Andrew and Mike Esposito, who were the art team on the Metal Men, and they later did some Spider-Man over at Marvel together. But this story is wild. Wonder Woman's just hanging out and sparring with the Amazons on Paradise Island. I remembered it. That's what it was, Paradise Island.
Yeah.
And these gorilla men from space just land on...
Lots of fan service we have here. And so the gorilla falls in love with Wonder Woman and turns into an ape. But then he decides she looked better as Wonder Woman. But wouldn't an ape prefer ape-looking women?
Yeah.
So,
But this is a comic book, so...
But he beats the crap out of Wonder Woman.
Does he now? Oh, yeah, that's right. He definitely bests her in combat, but she outsmarts him.
Mm-hmm.
She tricks him into turning himself into a man with his ray gun that can transform people. And then when he's a man, she can use the lasso of truth to tell him what to do and get him to bail and leave Paradise Island. And she had to get rid of these ape men quickly because the Amazons would have lost their power if men had remained on Paradise Island.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
short story, thin plot, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Oh.
So, oh boy. Now, the next story is Reign of the Super Gorilla from The Flash, number 127. And it's written by John Broome, with art by Carmine Infantino and Joe Giella. I like Gorilla Grodd, but this is not one of my favorite Grodd stories.
Oh.
Grodd has transferred his consciousness into a human being who is just being let out of prison. The world had thought Grodd was dead.
Right.
And then as soon as the guy gets out of prison, he turns back into Gorilla Grodd, and Grodd goes back to Gorilla City in Africa, and I'll let you take it from there.
Oh, he goes back. Yeah, he goes back to Gorilla Grodd. It's interesting that you have to. It's how difficult it is to show emotion on a gorilla face.
Yeah.
And male and female, you have no idea.
Right.
Unless they put a bow on them or something like that.
Sure.
And here's mother and a daughter, and you have no idea, except they say they are.
Yeah.
Oh, God figures out a way to make people love him. And so everybody in Gorilla City, is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Falls in love, and he says, well, I can take this on to somewhere else.
Yeah, he's going to go back to Central City and best the Flash.
Yeah, and so we go to Central City, and all the people love him, and then the Flash comes, and Flash loves him too. So Flash doesn't understand what's going on, so he runs from him, and then he finds out there's a diameter or
there's
a sphere, or an area where he's immune.
The power has a certain range limit.
Right. But Grodd runs for governor. Which I don't know, I was amused totally by this.
Yeah.
And he beats the crap out of Flash again. I'm not used to Flash. I never read Flash that much, but he's fast, right?
Yeah.
But he figures out how Flash loves the vibration, and he vibrates at a certain time. He can get through anything, and don't have to worry about this gorilla perfume or whatever.
Okay.
And it worked. So Grodd gets sent back to Gorilla City.
Yeah.
And what was this thing? It's a gorilla, and an ugly one at that.
Yeah. Once Flash learns how to neutralize this power, then people are like, "Hey, what? I can't believe we ran a gorilla for governor. Were we high?"
Yeah. There's been worse.
Yeah.
Okay, good old Titano is next.
Oh,
Superman.
yes, that's right. This is a classic from Superman number 138. It's Titano, the Super Ape, written by Otto Binder, with art by Wayne Boring. And I think this is probably only like the second Titano story.
Mm-hmm.
Superman is in the Fortress of Solitude, and he's looking through this, I don't know, this television that sees through time that he got from some aliens or something. And he's seeing Titano where he left him in prehistoric times. It's because he sent him through the time barrier before. And he realizes that this screen will actually pulls things out of time. And so he's brought Titano back to Metropolis. And
Titano's after these round objects, and these, the Daily Planet globe and all kinds of other globes. And
there's like a bowling ball advertisement, yeah. And of course, remember, the Titano has kryptonite vision, so Superman can't just like beat him up. He has to like try and find ways to indirectly defeat him.
Yeah. And of course, Titano loves Lois Lane.
Right.
Apparently, Titano wants coconuts, and back in prehistoric times, coconuts were really big.
Yeah.
So that's why he's going after round things. And, oh gosh, man, I'm an adult. Do you know?
I understand.
There's
yeah.
a huge fight, and a bathysphere of all things.
Oh, I love bathyspheres. Those get used a lot in these
'cause
stories.
they're neat.
They are cool. I mean, because we have bathyspheres in Sea Devils, in Aquaman,
Mhm.
Challengers of the Unknown. They get used a lot, but they are really cool.
Yeah, they are. So Superman figures out it's coconuts, so he sends them back. And saves the day, saves Lois, saves Metropolis. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of those plots are just kind of out there.
Yeah, and I enjoy that, but I don't really enjoy talking about them because they're hard to explain.
Especially that Weisinger era Superman stories. They're really convoluted and goofy. They're like
Yeah.
they're really fun to read, but they're like pulling teeth trying to explain those plots. But we have a lot of laughs on the show with those. So
Yeah.
Next we've got Fantastic Four number 85. This is Within This Tortured Land. It's classic. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. Not much more you need to say.
Right.
But the Fantastic Four, they are trapped in Latveria, the kingdom of Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And this Crystal of the Inhumans is filling in for Sue. I think Sue is pregnant with Franklin right now.
So what does Crystal do?
She has elemental powers,
Oh, okay.
which is sort of vague, but
And
it's
they
fine.
all lose their powers because Doctor Doom has this evil plan. And I love Doctor Doom. He's a great villain.
The greatest.
Is he the greatest?
For Marvel, anyway. It's like, come on, Marvel, or it's Doctor Doom. DC, it's Lex Luthor.
I'm trying to think of an argument against that, but I cannot. So you must be right.
Well, okay.
It happens. So,
Every once in a while,
Yeah.
you know.
the name of this, and I love it. These titles, Within This Tortured Land.
Yeah,
That's a nice, happy title.
yeah. Because everyone in Latveria is happy because they're ordered to. And if they're not,
It's Latveria, right? You said Latveria.
I said Latveria.
I thought you said Liberia.
Liberia?
Yeah, there's actual country. But
Right. Well, and
Latveria.
there's
Latveria?
Latvia. Yeah, Latveria.
Latveria.
It's supposed to be like Latvia,
Yeah.
but, you know, whatever. Yeah, Latveria. It's the made-up country that Doctor Doom rules.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, and Doctor Doom's like, you know, robot guards are like shooting the Fantastic Four with their ray guns and stuff, and
Yeah, pretty cool.
they're
Stupid
actually just
helmet.
hypnotized into thinking they don't have powers anymore,
Isn't
or
that
thinking they're too
interesting?
weak.
Yeah, interesting plot.
Yeah,
More Kirby machining. Man.
there's this great full-page splash of Doctor Doom in this control room with all this gadgetry around him, and it's awesome.
I would love.
And he's monitoring everything in Latveria, and just, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's.
There's an extended vignette with Doctor Doom, like, abusing henchmen and, you know, like, testing this awesome weapon.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how he manipulated these people into, you know, testing it for him. There were these guys who were trying to escape from Latveria to rebel. Doctor Doom captures them and lets them think that they've bested him and to escape. And they take off in this this dreadnought device that he's. It's like this vehicle he's built.
It's a cool, awesome looking tank.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So they,
Yeah.
quote unquote, escape, but then they're like destroyed by these amazing robots that are super powerful.
And they're super cool looking.
Yeah, and this was Doom's test of their abilities, so it's really cool. And you know that the next issue, the Fantastic Four are going to have to fight those robots. This is foreshadowing.
Yeah, which I wish we had the other issue. A lot of times, sometimes, it's a little bit of disappointed on the next issue. This time it's a big disappointment that we don't have the next issue.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that this is a good issue.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is kind of the Cadillac Marvel at this time. It's
Definitely.
Really interesting characters, although the problem with Fantastic Four is you don't know who's going to be the Fantastic Four, and then what's going on. I think another one we have today. They're separated and all that stuff.
Sure.
And I don't read them sequentially. I've read a lot of Fantastic Four, but I haven't read them from issue 1 to whatever issue it is today.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of these isolated issues, we're just surveying these series, and it's okay, we'll have a block of Fantastic Four for a few weeks, and then a few months down the line we'll come back to them. So
yeah, really cool. Man, Dr. Doom dresses up in the King's outfit. It is awesome.
Yeah, except
I'd go to work that way.
Yeah, well, he's got the big robes. Where did he get that from? Liberace?
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of corny. He's posing for a portrait, and the guy who's painting the portrait is obviously going to be killed as soon as it's finished.
Yeah, which is sad.
Yeah. Twinkie alert?
Yeah, Spider-Man attacks a fly.
And the Fly was a real Spidey villain, but it's like, why would you have... why would I be scared of the Fly? He's the natural, prey of a spider. So Spider-Man's going to, wail on him.
Well, Spider-Man's going to wail on everybody.
Well, I know, but, the Scorpion was always cool because that was a natural predator of a spider.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Well, yeah, they kill anything they can catch.
I thought the natural...
Or a bird. So, the vulture, is interesting, too.
A roll-up newspaper. It's the natural enemy of the spider. I just killed a big one last night.
Oh, man.
See, this is why men are made to open up ketchup bottles and kill spiders. There's no other reason. Okay.
I could think of a few, but I won't mention them on the air.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a pretty cool issue, and surprise, surprise, it looks like the Fantastic Four, as they've got to try to escape, and they're gonna have to face off against these killer robots.
Yeah, and victims all.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So our next issue, we've got Fantastic Four number 109. The story is Death in the Negative Zone.
Yeah,
written by
nice, happy title.
Oh, yes. And, it's written by Stan Lee and art by John Buscema and Joe Sinnott inking. This is one of the... This is in within the first 5 or 6 issues of Jack Kirby leaving the book.
Oh.
And
it looks very Kirby-ish, though.
Well, I am of the opinion that no one can really follow Kirby except John Buscema. He's just great. He's the guy that followed Kirby on Thor, and he's one of the best artists that Marvel ever had. I mean, his stuff on Conan is the definitive Conan, for example. So anyway, the Fantastic Four, they're in the negative zone. They got to fight Annihilus.
This guy Janus.
Yeah.
Which means two-faced.
Correct.
And
he's betraying humanity to gain power in the negative zone, so that makes sense.
Okay, that sounds like your average villain in comic book land.
Yeah.
But he wants to get negative zone power.
Yeah.
And he meets up with Annihilus, who is really, really bad.
Annihilus is a seriously awesome villain, and he is bad news. But yeah, and the Fantastic Four they're leaving Sue behind, but they're going to try and go. Reed and Johnny and Ben, they're going to go to the negative zone. They've got to defeat Janus and Annihilus because they're afraid that Janus will bring Annihilus back to our dimension, and the Annihilus will... Yeah, because Annihilus is made purely of antimatter or something like that. Beings from the negative zone, they can't stay in our world for a long time or our world will be destroyed.
But I wonder, why would he want to come to a matter world?
Just to conquer and destroy, because that's what he's about.
Oh, one of those.
He's just one of those guys.
in here, the Thing can turn into Ben Grimm, and
Yeah, Reed had come up with a treatment to allow Ben to be able to change back and forth. But of course, that doesn't last. There's a lot of that throughout the series.
yeah, I've noticed it a couple times. This is the first I've seen of this one.
Yeah.
Um, it's always sad when he turns back.
Yeah.
Although,
because Alicia Masters, she loves him for him, as she loves him as the Thing, but he's dying to be human again because, hello, he wants to be human. He doesn't like being the Thing. Or he definitely has mixed feelings about it.
would you want to be the Thing?
No, I mean, I would enjoy the power. I wouldn't mind being the Thing if I could change back and forth at will. Then it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was stuck being a monster, I don't know that I'd want to have superpowers. We talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah, we did. So,
but if I had to be a monster, I would want to be the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing.
Mm-hmm. Or the Grey Hulk.
Yeah.
Because they're so intelligent.
Well, yeah, I can dig that.
I don't know.
Grey Hulk was a jerk, though. But yeah.
He was an enforcer.
Yeah.
And that comes with nice enforcers do not
yeah,
exist.
he was that's right. The Grey Hulk, he was the mob enforcer in Vegas, Mr. Fix-It.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a mob enforcer.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
Well, yeah, but he had his points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the most handsome fellow, so being the Thing wouldn't be that much of a wouldn't be so much of a change. So,
Okay.
Man, yeah, Janus here is a cool human villain who's really nasty, and he treats everybody badly, and so he gets his just desserts.
Yeah, I mean, plus you don't forge an alliance with a nihilist. He's gonna double-cross you. He's gonna use you and destroy you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Fantastic Four, and then they fight a nihilist,
and Reed loses his compass or whatever.
His harness. Yeah. He's trapped in the negative zone,
mm-hmm.
at least for the end of this issue.
Yeah.
That's
how we start. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's a good issue, though.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
I really like this next one. This is great. It's Fantastic Four, number 138. Oh, excuse me, number 123. It's This World Enslaved.
Another happy title.
Yeah. Well, because the stakes are so high, and have to be. It's Fantastic Four. It's the flagship title of Marvel Comics, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, written by Stan Lee, art again by John Buscema and Joe Sinnott. Joe Sinnott, who inked most of Kirby's run on Fantastic Four, and then I think all of the Buscema run. I think he did just as much work on Fantastic Four as Kirby did. Sinnott. Mm-hmm. But this story, Galactus has come back to Earth to devour the Earth, unless the Silver Surfer returns with him as his herald.
Yeah, that's interesting. So one thing they did twice here, in the issue what we just read, was they showed pictures of destroyed Earth and people suffering and dying.
Right.
And it was kind of poignant.
Well, yeah, and it's reminding you of how high the stakes are.
Mm-hmm.
And a Fantastic Four issue should be an epic. And if it's not, it's kind of a why bother,
Yeah, they're not going around getting jaywalkers.
Yeah, exactly.
Although it would be funny if they did, maybe.
Yeah. So there's a cool scene, though, here. General Thunderbolt Ross, who's usually out Hulk busting, has a change of, task, and he and the army are trying to battle Galactus to no avail. And President Nixon is in this.
Yeah, but I was shocked. And it is Nixon, and he looks like Nixon and talks like him. Let's be perfectly clear. I think this was done before the '72 election.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just odd that I don't know.
Yeah, but Galactus is going to destroy the Earth unless the Surfer goes with him. And the Surfer agrees he will serve him in this universe. He will do anything, okay? But Reed has tricked Galactus, because he ends up he has alter the machinery in Galactus' ship, and it takes Galactus into the negative zone, which is not in this universe. So he saves the Silver Surfer from an eternity of servitude by tricking Galactus.
So is he going to meet Annihilus? I wonder who's going to win that battle.
I would think that Galactus would defeat Annihilus. Even though as powerful as Annihilus is, I think Galactus would win.
But aren't there worlds in the negative zone? So
yeah. So I'm sure there's some world devouring taking place in the negative zone. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it is cool. Very clever, although he's lucky that Galactus didn't check his computer before he sent it.
Well, right. And I'm sure it's not... I mean, Galactus, found the way out of the negative zone. It won't be the last time you have to deal with him, but it's pretty cool.
Poor Silver Surfer is sad again, and the most emo character in all comic book history. Even Spider-Man's not even close.
Well, and the thing is, though, we are taking a modern-day term and retroactively applying it to, something from then.
Sad sack?
Well, I mean, melancholy. Yes, he's sad. He's this noble guy. He saved his world by pledging, giving up his humanity and pledging servitude to Galactus. And he's got all this power, but he's lost his humanity. His
girlfriend, who was really nice.
Shalabal, yeah. And years later, it was revealed that Shalabal ended up getting together with Norrin Rad's brother, the Surfer's brother, so he could never get her back, that kind of thing. So.
Cool quote here. Don't envy him, Ben, says Reed. Think of his agony. Born for the gods and trapped among men. Men are not that bad.
Well, but he lives in both worlds, but belongs to neither, though. That's kind of the curse of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm being silly, but it's a pretty it's kind of a nice quote. In-house ad for Combat Kelly, Deadly Dozen. I have not heard of Combat Kelly, but
it's a short-lived war title at Marvel. It didn't last, but the other comic that shares that house ad certainly lasted quite a while. It's Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, which later became Power Man, and then Power Man and Iron Fist, and that ran into the early '80s.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So we've got one more issue of the Fantastic Four for this episode. It's number 138, and it's Madness is the Miracle Man, written by Jerry Conway, art by Buscema and Sinnott.
Yeah, pretty good issue. We have Medusa.
Yeah, Medusa's filling in for Sue. Sue has, I can't remember if it's either she's left Reed or if she's...
They're separated.
They're separated, yeah. And that's, one of the back and forths that's happened, throughout their history. But, yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Storm gets a haircut, which is a big deal. They travel in their ship, and they meet, who is this guy?
Oh, their friend Wyatt Wingfoot. They meet his people.
Yeah.
He's a Native American, and he's a friend of the Fantastic Four. Johnny went to college with him, but Johnny, didn't stick around in college. And they go to Wyatt's graduation. That's why he showed up at the Baxter Building. And then he's called away to an emergency on his reservation that he's from. And they take the Pogo plane or the Fantastic car or whatever, and they go to the reservation. And it's the Miracle Man is causing trouble, turning mountains into monsters and stuff.
Yep. Pretty cool looking monsters, too.
Very Kirby-esque.
Mm-hmm. So, we see American Indians, I'm sure they were nice portrayals in, but it's probably considered to be
not PC or condescending or whatever. Right. Okay.
They seem okay to me, but I'm not American Indian, so
who knows?
Yeah. Medusa's okay. Her hair doesn't work good. It does not work well against stone.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Miracle Man, he devised this weird trap. He used to just be all illusion, but then he got out of prison, and then he learned from these his hidden Indian tribes, wiseman guys, how to actually have real magic and levitate stuff and make things out of thin air and things. And so it's all part of his elaborate plot to get revenge against the Fantastic Four. This is he first appeared in like the third issue of Fantastic Four, third or fourth issue, and this is his first appearance since then. And this is the 70s.
Wow, I don't remember him. I read the original run, and
He wasn't that memorable. He was just like some magician guy. It's like Mysterio, only sucky. Suckier.
Yeah, he's got some nice bad guy, and he destroys the Lost Indian tribe, which I thought was a mean move.
Well, you gotta make him the heavy. You can't make him sympathetic. But yeah, the Miracle Man, he's actually pretty formidable in this. A little more an impressive foe than in his original outing.
Mm-hmm. And how?
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good. Moving on, we've got the Flash number 215.
Oh, one thing about the Miracle Man, we see him in prison and he has girly pictures on the wall. I was struck by that. I wonder. Normally you don't see the villains are so villainous that they're not interested in anything but villainy.
Yeah. So, well, I did talk about how he was studying like dark arts or water stuff in prison, but hey, you get lonely.
Better than his roommates girly pictures.
That's true. But yeah, we have the Flash number 215, and the lead story is Death of an Immortal. It's written by Len Wein, with art by Irv Novick, Frank McLaughlin, and Dick Giordano.
Okay.
So it's an odd story. We open up, Barry Allen has found himself on Earth 2 in the home of Jay and Joan Garrick. Jay Garrick, of course, being the Golden Age Flash.
Yeah, it's always confuses me because you get everything, two of everything. You get their spouses and which ones are. So, it's cool though. I'm not sure what else they describe. Earth 1, Earth 2. Man, Earth 2's the original Flash's outfit is awful, but
he's awfully great. I have to say, I really enjoy the Silver and Bronze Age stories with the Golden Age Flash. Yeah. Jay Garrick's a cool character, as are all the Justice Society people. They're really neat.
Well, the original Flash is in. What is this called?
It's in this weird time limbo, the time
stream, yeah. And Barry Allen meets this guy who looks kind of really Jewish looking.
But it's a disguise.
Yeah.
So this guy,
he looks like the prototypical.
He looks like the Wandering Jew.
Yeah, drawn by Nazis.
Yeah.
So.
But this guy calls himself Dalvin. And he is just trying to explain, like, look, you got to go into the time stream to rescue the Flash, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really tell them the whole story. Because this Dalvin is really Vandal Savage in disguise, the immortal villain. And he's trying to manipulate both of the Flashes into bringing this comet, the comet that granted Vandal Savage his immortality, bringing it back to Earth so that he can rejuvenate and, continue being immortal.
I would like to see more of Vandal Savage because he was Napoleon, he was Cheops II, Genghis Khan.
Yeah, he started as a caveman, and this comet came, and the radiation or whatever made him immortal, and then he lived for centuries. And
He's got a cool beard.
Yeah,
just awesome.
Vandal Savage is a great villain, one of the great villains of the Justice Society and of the original Flash.
He's wearing jodhpurs, man. Jodhpurs are great.
Yeah, and the Justice Society had more than one villain with jodhpurs. There was also Per Degaton, who was cool too.
All right.
He was like this master strategist, combatant villain. I don't know. He was cool.
Someday I'll wear jodhpurs all day.
Will you? Like Douglas MacArthur?
Yeah.
Or like the Red Skull. Pretty sure I saw the Red Skull wear those before too. So yeah, the Flashes are running through the time stream, and who's this other guy that they meet in there? He's like the keeper of the time stream.
Yeah, who gives them a task, and what is he? He is Tempest,
That's right.
Guardian of this, the Time Stream.
Very impressive.
Yeah, it was
Um,
kind of cool.
and they have to fight him, otherwise he won't help them. And so they beat him, and they're like, all right, we'll go. And so yeah, they have to basically race all throughout the entire time stream to try and divert this comet from coming back.
Yeah, man, the Time Stream is lame.
It just looks like a blanket with like stars and stuff.
Right.
Like it's yeah.
It looks like your kid's sister's bedroom. It's just
Yeah,
really,
with glow in the dark stars on the wall. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like.
but not a bad plot though.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But they got to go up. They got to mess with a time stream, whirlpool, and a time stream, waterfall, and this and that.
Yeah.
So Vandal Savage gets his meteor coming back, and it kills him. That'll learn him.
Yeah, that'll teach him. So the Flash is won and lost. I mean, they got restored back to everything and whatever. The backup story in this is a reprint from. It's called it's The Man Who Broke the Time Barrier, and it's this is I think the second Flash Silver Age Flash story ever from Showcase number 4, which is the issue that debuted Barry Allen's Flash. The Man Who Broke the Time Barrier, and it's written by John Broome with art by Carmine Infantino and Joe Kubert on inks.
Kind of a cool story. Another bald villain.
Yeah, what's this guy's name again?
Oh,
I only bring it because I know he shows up again in another issue we talk about. His name's like Mazden.
yeah, Mazden. Actually, oh yeah.
Yeah, he's this villain from the future, just a thief or whatever. And in the future time that he's from, they just send you in a time capsule to like the end of time or
Which
something.
is really a goofball punishment. Let's send somebody who is a criminal to a time where they're maybe more technologically advanced.
Who knows?
And
I think
sounds
it's
like
to a
bad
time where there
idea.
was nothing. I think is what it was, like far in the future. They
They
probably
should've
sent him to
just-
the Great Disaster period, really. Commandy. Even though this is
Yeah.
before that, but
But they could. It's just a bad idea, and I'm surprised the people of the future aren't smarter.
sorry. The Legionnaires wouldn't do that. But anyway, the time capsule that he sent through, it malfunctions and sends him back to the 20th century. And so he's in Central City, and he's just using his future technology abilities to steal things, to repair the thing, and go back to his own time. But reigniting the time capsule will kill a lot of people in Central City, and so the Flash has to beat him up and then take him to the future on his own by breaking the time barrier.
Yeah, and I think this is where he figures out how to go through time.
Yeah.
And then he gets the cosmic treadmill.
Later he gets the cosmic treadmill. Now the cosmic he can break the time barrier without it, but he can't go to specific times without the treadmill. The treadmill allows for precision time travel. Superman can do that on his own, but I think flight plays a factor into him being able to do that, or the fact that he's just Superman.
Right.
So he sends Mazden back to his own time. They're like, hey, get it right this time, fellers.
They'll send him forward into time again.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. So that's, I don't know. I thought that's a pretty fun story.
Oh,
It's really one of the earliest Barry Allen Flash stories. So fast forwarding to the Flash number 243, we've got If I Can't Rob Central City, Nobody Can, written by Cary Bates, with art by Irv Novick and Frank McLaughlin.
I love evil groups, and this has evil group. The evildoers who fight against the Flash.
Yeah, the Flash's rogues gallery, and we've got in this one at least the Top is dead. By the way, they're having a funeral for the Top. I wonder how they got the body, but whatever. But then we've got the Mirror Master, Heatwave, the Weather Wizard, Captain Cold, the Trickster, and Captain Boomerang. So these are really the major adversaries of the Flash, other than Grodd and Professor Zoom, because those guys don't have anything to do with the rogues. They're like, Because Grodd and Professor Zoom are like killers. Like with the rogues, it's kind of a game with the Flash.
And they want to just get money.
Yeah.
So they're Silver Age villains.
Yeah,
instead of,
definitely.
Like, instead of the psycho killers.
Well, yeah, I mean, Professor Zoom is just a killer. He just wants to destroy the Flash. And then Grodd, he's a conqueror.
Yeah.
Would be.
I do like groups of bad guys, and I find them inherently interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And the mob, as in real life, is interesting. I don't know. The SS is interesting. Manson family. The assassins.
Sure.
It's really cool, and I like it in comic books too. The interplay between them, so they can, instead of them talking to themselves, between they're actually talking to us or arguing with each other. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, and the Flash's rogues, they have like a kind of a rivalry between each other, but they're all friends, and they'll team up. It's an interesting dynamic they have going. But anyway, they're holding the funeral for the Top, and the Top has got a recorded tape for them, kind of replaying his last few days of his life. Now, the Top had learned to spin himself at great speeds, and he also had like top weapon gimmicks. Okay, that was kind of his deal.
And top puns.
Yeah, yeah. But the Top, he had found that over time from spinning at great speeds, he had moved dormant brain cells to the outer, forward in his brain, and gained like psionic powers, telekinetic powers and stuff. But that came with the price of it's killing him. Mm-hmm. So he gains these powers, pulls one last job, and then he realizes he's dying.
Because he got too close to Flash when Flash was vibrating, and it killed him.
That's right, because I think this dormant cells that had moved forward were too delicate or something, and they caused brain damage. And so he was going to have brain death.
So Top puts these bombs all over the place where he's been robbing people, and then let me get this straight. If they steal and they get the money, the bomb doesn't go off. But if they steal and Flash comes up and catches them, the bomb goes off and blows up Central City.
I don't think that the rogues had to go back and steal anything. They had to go and find the bombs and get rid of them.
They had to go back to his old places of theft.
Right. And the whole plot was he's going to send them out to stop this, and the Flash, predictably won't believe that they're actually on the side of the Angels this time, and so stop them. So they have to be able to beat the Flash and the Top post-mortem in order to save the city that they operate in. And they love Central City. They're like, hey, this is our home. So they're quite a...
Yeah, one of them says, I like this town. I spent my entire criminal career here. It wouldn't be the same without us. That's a nice sentiment.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because, and I wish we had the next issue because I would love to read the next part of this, because they have to play hero and try to either fend off the Flash or convince him that they're trying to do good. It's a great story, and the Top ends his career on a high note. He's thwarted the Flash like 5-6 robberies before dying.
Yeah. This requires they do have to do the same robberies I did to retrieve the bombs. So he's got to steal to do that. So okay. I was worried that I was wrong, but I'm never wrong. No.
Okay.
Just usually wrong.
Yeah. So we have a backup story in here with the Green Lantern, and it's called Dust of the Earth. It's written by Denny O'Neil, with art by Mike Grell and Terry Austin.
I haven't read much of Green Lantern. It's kind of interesting that he can make anything green and big and, fists and hammers and all that. It's very cartoonish, as in Warner Brothers cartoon or Tex Avery cartoons.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a great power, and it's really fun. There's a lot of potential for,
it's almost too powerful, though.
Yeah. You could say that about a lot of superheroes, though.
Yeah, sure.
But it's interesting.
Not bad. These people come down. They here's another destruction of Earth thing.
these aliens want to join this like galactic
Federation
or something, but in order to get in, they have to prove that they have like military or destructive capabilities. So they got to destroy the Earth or something.
Yeah, apparently that the Federation had heard of Genesis, the book in the Bible.
Yeah.
And so instead of making the world in 6 days, they will destroy the world in 6 days.
Yeah, and they're going to devolve the Earth or whatever, and they use this devolving thing on Green Lantern.
Turns into an ape.
Kind of like a
caveman.
Yeah. And it temporarily affects him, but then he willpowers his way through it.
He uses animal cunning and beats the crap out of him.
Yeah, sends him packing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, he has this weird little alien sidekick, Itty.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
I don't know. I have not encountered him before. It's kind of interesting. He's this tiny little alien worm guy that's sitting on his shoulder. Looks like a flower or a worm or something. But it's kind of a cool story. You know, just a short little, like, 8-page backup or whatever. But
a saber-toothed tiger with wings.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to make with the Green Lantern ring.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, that's all right. Yeah, it's
pretty fun.
Not bad.
So I think we've got one more issue of the Flash. It's Flash number 255, Flashback to Danger, written by Cary Bates, art again by Irv Novick and Frank McLaughlin, and it's a Mirror Master story.
Ew. Yeah, Mirror Master, and he uses mirror power. What is a mirror powered jet ski or something?
Jetpack. I thought that was kind of weird. I knew you were going to bring it up too. Yeah. I was like, okay, you could say solar powered, and the edge is mirrored. I mean, like, okay, I guess that's mirrory. Mm-hmm. But yeah, mirror powered jetpack is kind of crazy. But everything has to be mirror themed or whatever.
Yeah, he has no shtick. So,
yeah. But I do like him. He's fun.
Yeah, he's a goofball.
And he goes into people's houses just popping out of a mirror. That's kind of creepy. You know?
It is. I didn't get that part.
Well, I don't think that's in this issue. I'm just saying I've seen that.
Yeah, what's with Stacy, the pretty co-ed, who summoning a demon?
Oh, okay. The Allens, they're hosting a college student. They're renting a room to this college kid, and Barry Allen just shows up, and she's like practicing witchcraft or whatever in their house, and Flash has to fight off this demon. But then it turns out it's an illusion created by Mazdon, who's come back from the future to mess with the Flash.
Yeah, here we are with Mazdon again. He's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the handful of Flash villains that's not part of the Rogues.
Mm-hmm. Pretty evil. So.
Yeah, he's creepy. But so that's just kind of leads in. But then there's this kind of main story. Oh, Iris is mad because Barry's not paying attention to her again.
No.
She's always getting ticked off at him.
He's a superhero.
Yeah.
You're married to somebody who's super famous, super powered, and give him a break. I don't understand.
And it's not like she's like a housewife. She has a career.
Mm-hmm. As a reporter. And she interviews Barry Allen all the time.
Yeah, because he's a police detective, police scientist. So that's what it's not.
She's always in a mad.
But then they make up. It's kind of
I don't know. She's wearing a frown.
Yeah. But he turns it upside down later. But yeah, Mirror Master shows up at this movie premiere, and he uses this weird gun to turn all of these people's jewelry into, like, he sucks it up through this gun.
And then he sucks it back out, and
he takes it to go get... Yeah, he takes it to get fenced.
Yeah, and it sucks it back out, and it's great.
But yeah, the Mirror Master has used this weird device to make the Flash go backwards or something. This image that he put on his uniform, like it's some psychosomatic kind of thing. A Roscoe. Well, it's named after Roscoe Dillon, the top. And the Rogues awarded themselves these things, the Roscoes, when they did something great or something, or beat the Flash or something like that, in honor of the top. It's funny because the last one we read, they're like, oh, our poor friend, then oh, jerk face, we got to do this at the end.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
Yeah. You always allow your friends one great fault. So
yeah.
He's kind of a jerk.
Yeah. And then the top had dated Captain Cold's sister, who became the Golden Glider, another supervillain.
Oh, she's coming in the next one, I think.
Yeah, which we don't have that one, but I've read stories with her. We'll encounter her perhaps in the future.
Okay.
So
in-house ad for Superman Spectacular, where he's killed by Lex Luthor and Brainiac.
do you think they really killed him?
I don't know.
Probably not.
It'd be fun if they just did, and no fanfare, he just dies, and there's no more next month. How cool would that be? And that would be real.
When they did the death of Superman in the 90s, they did cease publication for a few months. They did the funeral issues, and then they didn't do anything for a little bit.
Yeah, I bought the ones coming back, and there's this whole. It's all over the place.
The whole reign of the Superman with all the four imposters.
Yeah, and it's really hard to keep up with everything, and then it's just, it wasn't that great. So.
Yeah, so just okay. Yeah.
I really didn't like the way the death of Superman was drawn.
It was, especially going across 4 or 5 different titles, you had different artists, for every part, basically.
The ones I saw I didn't like.
Yeah, the art was underwhelming. I liked the ones that had Jerry Ordway on art. That was pretty. I liked him.
I have to look at that.
Yeah, but anyway.
But I like the artwork on this because Luthor is in his purple jumpsuit.
Yeah, I love that. The purple and green costume. I love that costume. That's
really
his
buff,
Legion of Doom costume.
Yeah, and they're really buff.
Yeah, they look really cut.
And I would like to have Brainiac's muscles there.
Sure.
I would like to have his brain, so it wouldn't be evil. So.
Right. So yeah, the Flash is fighting the Mirror Master and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's a fun issue.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, Saturday morning TV. When there used to be Saturday morning TV for kids. No, it's.
You notice again, all this artwork, every single bit of it is by Neil Adams in this 2-page spread.
Mm-hmm.
You even see Neil Adams doing Mr. Magoo.
Yeah. Oh, the new Mr. Magoo is awful. I thought the old one was pretty good.
Oh, Magoo, you've done it again.
Yeah. Jim Backus.
That's a voice?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Did not know that.
Jim Backus as the millionaire. Thurston Howell III.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's also in Mad World. Has one of the
Who
greatest
isn't
songs.
in that movie?
Right. And he's getting Buddy, and is it Buddy Hackett?
Probably.
They're flying the plane, and it's like, well, what if something goes wrong? And he says, as he's going by the back of the plane, he says, nonsense, what can go wrong in an old fashioned? Great line. I wish I could do a Thurston Howell, but he is cool. Superman versus Wonder Woman.
Another house ad for another, God, what are they? Another Treasury edition. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's an untold tale of World War II. So that means it's the Earth 2 Superman and Wonder Woman. But anyway, I digress.
Okay. All right.
So
I don't know. Oh man, you never see this. A villain gets beaten up so bad he's in his underwear.
No, the Flash steals his uniform to sneak back to the Rogue's hideout, and he's gonna go beat them all up.
That's right.
Yeah, so the Flash figures out the way to beat the Mirror Master, and yeah, so it's a really fun issue, though.
Yeah, it is. Not a huge Flash fan, but it's just okay.
Yeah, in a few weeks we'll go back and we'll have a few more Flash issues, and
none of this side is spies. There's nothing. Oh no, it's a Goober Man or something like that. I really hate. They're all okay, and there's some I like more than others.
Sure.
Goober Man would be a great.
With chocolate-covered peanut?
Yeah, he has a power of peanuts or something. I don't
know. And also this episode, we're going to lead into some Legion and some Superman stuff. It's also where we're going to take a bit of a break from Superman for a while.
Oh.
But I mean, following this episode, but we'll always have plenty of cool stuff. So, and I'm with you there. Not everything that we read on like crackers about, but
it's all fascinating.
And I think it all is deserving of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
people put thousands of hours of work in these things.
That's right.
Even bad art is highly labor intensive.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing is this super bad. Some of it's just kind of mediocre, or some of it's of its time that we cannot get into it.
Sure. But I think all of this that we cover on the show, it deserves a second look.
Mm-hmm.
It's, hey, let's not forget about this. Let's, let's explore. Let's dig deep and revisit, revitalize, whatever. There's a word I'm trying to think of and I'm missing it, but it's okay.
I can't think of it either.
Anyway, so moving on. We've got Superboy number 230. And the lead story is The Creature Who Conned the Legion. It's more Legion of Superhero stuff, gang. Written by Paul Levitz, art by James Sherman and Jack Abel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we open with the Legion, several of the Legionnaires. Who is it? Superboy?
Superboy, Sunboy, Dream Girl, Brainiac 5, and Element Lab. That's the roll call. I love the little roll call in the beginning.
Well, and you got to, because there's so many Legionnaires.
Mm-hmm. I've not seen Dream Girl before.
Yeah, she has clairvoyant powers or something, I think.
And silver hair.
Yeah, and she's pretty. But the Legionnaires go to this planet where there's all these earthquakes happening. It's like a mining planet, and these little people live on it.
And they don't have earthquakes.
Yeah.
So then they find this guy Sten, I think he's pronounced.
Yeah, he's this weird alien guy. He's a typical bug-eyed monster alien.
Literally.
Yeah, and he's got tentacles and glass, helmety thing. He's like Kang and Kodos from The Simpsons.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, they are like kind of like it's a Wally-Wood alien monster thing. It's classic. So he's like, hey, I'm here to like
save the day, but I need this crystal.
Yeah. But yes. Okay.
Let's see, and so there's 22 Titanic teams.
Yeah, that's they're overall, all total, there are 22 Legionnaires.
I thought there was 100 of them.
Oh, it seems like it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But Sten, it turns out to be this evil sorcerer, and he needs this object. But he's not immune to fire, and that's why he needs the Legionnaires to get this thing for him. But they figure it out, and they kick his ass.
Right. And
so.
They mention Moop's Ball, which is the newest, what people play back then.
Yeah, or from in the future then.
Yeah. No.
But we got a backup story, and it's The Day Bouncing Boy Bounced Back, written by Paul Levitz, art by Mike Nasson and Jack Abel.
Yeah.
Or Mike Nasser, I think. But it's pretty cool. The Legion are out on emergency, and Bouncing Boy has kind of come back and just doing guard duty. He's lost his powers, and he's retired from the Legion, but whatever. He is a science police officer, comes to the Legion headquarters, doesn't know that they have protocols for when they're away. This guy was just kind of like, well, I'll try and help out.
Wouldn't you know Bouncing Boy? Wouldn't you know that there's a guy named Bouncing Boy?
Yeah, I think they just kind of caught each other by surprise and ended up fighting. And they set off the security stuff, and they're trapped in these energy bubbles.
Kind of mean. It's in Bouncing Boy speaks truly. For although he is overweight and out of shape, he fights on.
Yeah.
Man, that's kind of mean.
Well, all the Legionnaires, they do go through like combat training. So all of them, even if they have just like like Dream Girl, she can fight hand to hand.
Overweight and out of shape is kind of mean thing to say.
Well,
but he gets his Bouncing Boy powers back.
Yeah,
inflatability power.
Yeah, because this energy bubble somehow reactivates his power, and so then he uses his power to get out of it, and he tells the security guard, look, I'm married, I'm retired, look, I won't tell anybody if you don't. And then the Legionnaires come back, and Bouncing Boy's like, yep, nothing happened, quiet, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, to keep his power secret. That's, even from the Legion.
Yeah.
It's interesting that, what a goofball character, the goofball power.
Sure.
Inflatability. It was a fanboy thought it up.
Sure.
And they still have it 20 years later, which is kind of fascinating.
People like Bouncing Boy. I like him. I like him a lot.
Um,
And this is a good story with him.
Not bad, but I'm just kind of I don't know what to think. So,
Okay.
Um,
So then we've got Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. The book has changed titles. And then a few issues later, it would just go to Legion of Superheroes. That Superboy would be dropped. But the story, it's number 234. And the story is Wanted, Dead or Alive, the Composite Legionnaire. And it's written by Jerry Conway with art by Rick Estrada and Jack Abel.
yeah, they're hunting this flying space dragon.
And the reason they have to get it is they have to harvest scales from it to get this. There's an element or energy from these space dragon scales that allows Shrinking Violet's people to shrink. And it's important. They need it because the planet shrinks every 10 years, and they have to have the shrinking ability to survive. Otherwise, they'll be
they
giant.
like their planet, so they want to stay there.
Yeah. It's a really convoluted way to introduce that, but, whatever. There's also this space bounty hunter that's introduced.
Called Bounty.
Yeah. I wonder if he can clean up spills as well.
Oh, yeah. That came out about the same time.
Yeah.
They
But
don't have a roll call, do they?
don't they? I thought I saw one.
Maybe they have.
But I think I see, like, it's either Saturn Girl or Princess Projectra and Shrinking Violet, and I think it's Saturn Girl, and Superboy and Colossal Boy and Lightning Lad. And anyway, there's an accident while they're trying to harvest these dragon scales, and
they harvest too many, then an explosion.
And 4 of the Legionnaires that are there, Shrinking Violet, Saturn Girl, Colossal Boy, and Lightning Lad, become they become one being united, and it's like a monster. It's called the Composite Legionnaire. And Superboy, I think it beats up Superboy, and then it just goes to Earth and starts on a rampage in Metropolis. And the other Legionnaires, Wildfire and Chameleon Boy, and so on, they have to, and Phantom Girl, they have to try and fight them. I think Ultra Boy's there too. I could be wrong, but
they had trouble with him because he's really mean and nasty. Bounty really wants to get him.
Yeah,
so they're having political trouble because they're going to be some kind of the president of the thing wants
of Earth,
wants a something to oversee
the Legion, And Wildfire is just furious about it, and he thinks he's been betrayed by the president of Earth. And we learn about Wildfire, why he's such an angry guy. His body is like made of antimatter. Doesn't have a corporeal form. So he's trapped. He's like basically immortal, but he can never touch or really have a real relationship with people. But he's been elected leader of the Legion, and he's a great hero. A really fascinating character.
I've only read him in 2 things. So 2 issues. So.
That's right. We talked about him, I think, last time as well.
Yeah. But it's kind of. But he may be dying in the end of this because he fights against Composite and kicks. Bounty gets his butt kicked.
Because he's a jerk and he deserves it, so good.
Yeah.
But Bounty was out to kill the Composite Legionnaire, and the other guys are like, "Hey, we're trying to save our friends and return them back to normal." But we'll see.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
So our last issue I just love the Legion. They're just fun. Our last issue for the episode is Superman number 142, and the lead story is Lois Lane's Secret Helper, written by Otto Binder with art by Kurt Schaffenberger.
Oh, it's Crypto trying to get him married and fails miserably each time.
Yeah, I've read this story a couple times before, and it's just goofy.
Yeah, goofy
Crypto is observing human mating rituals and trying to trick Superman into marrying Lois. And, he fails. Wackiness ensues. We can move on to the next story.
And then Superman gets hit by... He goes back in time to look at dinosaurs and gets hit by Titano's kryptonite gaze. And he goes back to the future, but only hits the 1920s. And he stays in Al Capone's time.
Yeah, it's Superman meets Al Capone. Wayne Boring wrote it. Wayne Druitt, Autobinder wrote it. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Superman has to fight Al Capone, but also not reveal that he's Superman.
Because Superman doesn't exist.
Yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And he gives Perry White his first big break.
Yeah, when Perry White is like a newsboy. He's a newsie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're cool.
Yeah,
the last one is a flame dragon from Krypton.
Yeah, Jerry Siegel wrote this story.
Oh.
And Wayne Boring wrote it.
That's one thing in the book that Jerry Siegel, The Men of Tomorrow, that Jerry Siegel wrote a bunch of stuff about loss of parents and all this stuff. It's really sad, melancholy.
Yeah. The Return to Krypton is a really classic story, and I had read that and then learned, because these, in the original comics, they don't credit him. But then I learned that was his, and I was like, oh man, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Really poignant story.
Yeah.
But this is fun. The flame dragon from Krypton shows up, and Superman's got to try and get rid of it.
Yeah, he has robots, and the robots are kicked or destroyed by the dragon.
Yeah.
So he gets Batman and Supergirl to help him. Why doesn't he have Supergirl robots too?
I don't
Why
know.
doesn't he have Batman robots? Why doesn't he have all kinds of robots?
Because
why doesn't he have a Jeff Barnard robot?
these are good questions. I think we should write. We should go through the time barrier and write to DC Comics in 1961 or whatever this issue came out, and we'll get our answer.
All right. There's
actually
an address though.
Yeah. So, do you want to wrap up with that? All right. This has been Comic Reflections, Mirror Master's favorite podcast. I'm Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnard.
All right. See you next week.